We are live for UFC 310. We have made it, and it's a big one. You got two undefeated fighters in Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Ian Machado Gary in the co-main event. But up first, Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Big heavyweight showdown. It's the rematch, and then later on, don't worry about a flyweight title. No big deal. No big deal, right? Alexander Pantoja takes on a newcomer making his UFC debut and fighting for the title. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Kai Asakura. Can't wait to see what this guy's about. We got these three fights for you. Full fight reactions here on the live watch party. Next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA Podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the TC MMA podcast, and we are live for the watch party UFC 310 right now. Cyril Gane is making his way to the octagon, and as you heard in the intro, we got a lot, well, not a lot, but three great fights for you coming up. First with Cyril Gane versus Volkov, then Shavkat versus Ian Machado Gary. Both guys that combined 33-0, and then of course the flyweight title is on the line. So it's going to be a wild finish to UFC 310, and we're going to be here to bring it all to you. So make sure you stay with us, rock with us throughout the watch party. While you're listening, get involved in the chat room. Let me know what you think about these picks and these fights right now on the night. I think we're like, 5 and 6? Getting the first 4 fights of the night right, and then dropping 6 straight. Not a good look. But we did get the last one. Bryce Mitchell getting the KO over Kron Gracie, so we'll take that. And then we'll see how this one goes. We need Cyril Gane to get the job done in this one for sure. And Cyril's now in the octagon. And I'll tell you what, Volkov is huge, man. What is he, like 6'7"? One of the tallest heavyweights. There's a couple 6'8" guys, but 6'7" is really tall. So Volkov 38-10, Cyril Gane 12-2. These guys fought, 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. 6'7" versus 6'4", two giants. Cyril Gane 34, Volkov 36. Both guys, Volkov weighing in at 255, Cyril Gane weighing in at 246. Both guys well over 80-inch reach. So really the perfect matchup if you ask me. And Bruce Buffer getting these guys introduced. Volkov looks great, man. Tall, strong, big shoulders. And, riding a 5-fight win streak, I believe it is. He's going to want to put on a show here and prove that he can come back and beat Cyril Gane. Make no mistake about it. Place is full now, T-Mobile Arena. I mean, for a lot of these fights, the front rows were wide open, but I'll tell you what, there's no seats open right now. They have flooded into this thing since the main card started. I'll tell you what, man, when I go to a UFC event, I'm getting there from the first fight. I'm like Theo Von, baby. I'm there all night. Cyril Gane looking big too, man. He always looks big, but he looks like he's lost a little bit of weight and chiseled up. Since the John Jones loss, this is going to be a guy that's going to be training like crazy, right? He's going to be training like crazy. And this is another fight here since the John Jones loss. He's got to continue getting better and better if he wants to get back into the talks. And not only that, he's got to win and win big. But this fight getting ready to kick off, ladies and gentlemen. So let's tune it up. Here we go. Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov at UFC 310. Both guys touching gloves, and here we go. Cyril Gane coming in quick, and he gets shoved to the side by Volkov. And Cyril Gane's going to be punching upward, right? He's 6'4". I mean, tall guy, but really an average heavyweight in terms of height. Volkov's really tall at 6'7". Cyril Gane do when he does best is utilizing the lead leg kick with the right leg. He stands left-handed. Volkov stands right, and Volkov catches a leg. And he's looking to take the back of Cyril Gane, and he drags him to the ground. Look at this. Oh, boy. And I would not be surprised. It's just been one of those nights for the predictions. We had I was a little worried about it, to be honest. Coming into this card, we took a lot of chances on guys like Aljamain Sterling, who looked great. Took a chance on Nate Landwehr. He looked terrible. Doo Ho Choi doing his thing. Bryce Mitchell got the win in the previous fight, though. So we got signs of life. Volkov moves into side control. And Cyril Gane trying to get up, but Volkov won't let him. And this is a tough spot for Cyril Gane because Volkov feels in command in these positions. Gane trying to give up. He's going to give up the back, though. Oh, boy. Look out. Oh, and Volkov was close to squeezing. And now Cyril Gane's trying to work the head on the hip and trying to get underneath the Volkov, which isn't hard to do, right? I mean, the guy's tall as heck, so you want to stay low. And up to this point, Cyril Gane has shown that he can beat pretty much everybody. But Francis Ngannou and John Jones, two of the baddest dudes on the planet in the heavyweight division. A fight we'll probably never see. Big question in this division is what's next? John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. That's a fight that everybody wants to see. Hopefully the UFC can negotiate with John Jones and get that fight made. But the winner of this is seemingly right behind Tom Aspinall. And Volkov with the big takedown. Wow, nice takedown. He's got top position, but Volkov's got the legs wrapped around the back, so he's preventing any type of full mount. So we'll see what Cyril Gane wants to do with this situation. If he can make something happen. Right now, Volkov doing a good job holding on to the gloves, keeping the hands at bay. And Gane, I would think he's going to stay here throughout the rest of the round. I mean, he's shown he's got that ability. And Volkov trying to squeeze out of there, he can't. Nice left by Gane. Ooh. Ooh, Cyril Gane grabbed onto the cage as he was going down. That should be a point. What is this? Cyril Gane's going for something with the leg. Is this a knee bar? He's got the ankle, but Volkov rolls out of it. Cyril Gane desperately trying to get to his feet. He can't. And he spins Volkov back into the fence. Let's go, Gane. Make something happen, baby. Make something happen. I mean, Volkov is freaking huge, man. This guy just towers over Cyril Gane. Right now it's 10-7 Cyril Gane in terms of significant strikes. Very close round. Cyril Gane is also leading in control time. So that's a good look here in the first round. Now Volkov gets a takedown. Look at Gane going for the rear. Excuse me, guillotine. Oh, and he's got it kind of tight here. There's only 15 seconds left in the round. Can he do it? Let's go, Gane. Finish it, Gane. Come on, tap, man. Tap, baby. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get it here. It's going to be close. But this round's coming to an end. And Volkov is going to get out of the round. Very close for Cyril Gane right there. Crowd sort of likes it, right? There's some oohs and ahs going on. They don't want to see heavyweights rolling around on the ground. That's the bottom line. I mean, anyone that's live does not want to see two heavyweights rolling around on the ground. If they are, you want to see some serious ground and pound. But both fighters are doing a heck of a job when they're in a bad situation. Not allowing the ground and pound, right? Grabbing around the back of the head, keeping, chest to chest. That's what you got to do when you're on your back. And both guys have shown that they can do that. So this is going to be a battle, both on the feet and on the ground, as we go forward in this fight. Round 2 getting ready to come up. 10-7 still in significant strikes, 20-8 in total strikes, all for Cyril Gane. When you look at takedowns, you got 1 takedown for Gane, 2 takedowns for Volkov. Both guys at a minute 30 of control. So I don't know. I mean, that's a very close round. Very close round. Coming into the fight, Gane's like a 4-1 favor. And a lot of that's because he beat him the last time. Forget the 5-fight win streak. I guess nobody cares. People just believe in Gane's going to get the victory here because he beat him the last time. It doesn't matter that Volkov's won 5 in a row. And that's kind of what I'm banking on too. Right? The head-to-head matchup, Gane beat him. Now, both guys getting better, but I got to believe Gane is getting even better than Volkov. Volkov, a little older as well. Gane losing to John Jones, so he's back in the gym. He's training his butt off, trying to get to a higher level. I mean, you have no choice. And he's got to be working on the ground game. Oh, spinning back fist. And boy, I tell you what, Gane almost went down, man. Oh, baby. Volkov landed. 350 left, round 2. Here's a replay. Bing! Yeah, he got him. Right on the chin. Gane better stop ducking the head. He takes a leg kick. That's just what I was thinking. Every time Gane throws, he puts his head down. He's trying to really land, but he's susceptible to the counter. Ooh, nice combo by Volkov. 3:10 left in the second round. Let's go, Gane. You better pick it up, man. Volkov's starting to get the momentum here. Those leg kicks aren't doing it. Yeah, and Volkov definitely building a momentum. He looks comfortable here. He's standing in the center of the octagon. He's continually going forward. Nice right by Gane, though. Followed up by Volkov. Okay, we got a battle on our hands. I wouldn't mind seeing a finish regardless of who it is. I just want to get to the next fight. This is like UFC 308 when we had Hamzat and Whitaker. That, to me, that's the fight of the night. Tonight, it's Shavkat and Gary. That's the fight of the night. I mean, it is what it is. The title fight's not even close to that one. 2 guys 33-0. Let's get a finish here and get to that. Nice uppercut by Gane. 2 minutes left, round 2. Volkov definitely doing a nice job of pressuring Gane. I mean, the numbers are lower than they were in the last fight. It was like 135 to 115 because both guys are taking the fight to the ground a little bit, especially in round 1. So that's lowering the numbers in terms of the activity. But things are picking up here in round 2. It's now 33-28 Gane, so pretty even in this round. Head strikes for Volkov, 14-9. Just trying to give you an idea of where this thing is at. Oh, big right by Gon. Now Gon's going to try to get the takedown, but Gon put his head down again, and see, this is tough here. And Gon's in a little bit of trouble here. He does get the takedown, though. He's on top. And Volkov had a guillotine opportunity. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold it here. He's just got one arm. Gon doesn't seem to be worried about it. Come on now. Oh, boy. And Volkov's still holding on with it, but Gon gets out of it. Good job keeping his chin down. And Gon says, get up. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's not going well down there. Get up. Come on, Cyril. Land a big punch here. Nice leg kick by Volkov. Gon responds. But see, now even the leg kicks and the punches are kind of seeming to lose a lot of power on the side of Gon. Like, he's still landing leg kicks. There's a nice left. But he's still, when he throws, he ducks that head. He's just susceptible to the counter. And that's kind of what Volkov has been doing. Both guys head to the corner. And you got to be telling your fighters right now, it's probably 1-1. I mean, it could be 2-0 one way or the other, but you can't bank on that, right? You can't bank on that. And the numbers aren't too big a difference either way to say, hey, one guy is definitely winning this fight. Yeah, that spinning back fist was nasty, boy. Here it is again. Boom. Throws to right. Oh, no, we're not going to see it. Nice jab by Volkov, followed by a big right. There's a nice combination there. And when they're on the feet, you know, Gon's not doing bad. He's landing his shots. But when the fight goes to the ground, it seems like Gon, at least right now, is under a little duress. And he's got to get it together. That's the bottom line. Round 3's underway, and they come out quick. And that's really because both corners, I mean, they got to be telling their guy, you got to win this round. I mean, it's an absolute must. Hard to believe Volkov has worked himself up to number 3 in the heavyweight division. That's what happens when you go on a 5-fight win streak and you got others above you losing. Big opportunity for him, right? You win this, I mean, you're right behind Tom Aspinall. So you can start calling out the champ. And regardless of who wins this fight, both of these guys are probably going to be sidelined for a little bit because you're dealing with John Jones. Something always happens with this guy that causes a delay. I mean, we might not see John Jones till the middle to end in 2025. Even if you win this fight, you know Aspinall and John Jones are fighting. And then if Tom Aspinall does find a way to win, you know there's going to be a rematch. So, you know, both these guys need a finish. It's the bottom line. A decision is, you know, a win is a win, but they both need a finish to make the case. Both guys on the ground now. Volkov trying to get into a side mount, but he's got his head on the ground. See, Zero Gon is trying to get a submission attempt here, or he's got a submission attempt, but he's not going to get it. Now Volkov pounds away with the right. So both guys kind of in an awkward situation. Volkov's got to be careful here at the armbar. As you can see, Cyril Gon's trying to position the legs, but I don't think he's going to get it. Now Gon goes to his back. Oh boy, that was close. And now Gon finds himself on his back, and it's not good here. I mean, sometimes position over submission is better. I mean, it almost always is if you don't get it, right? And Gane went for it and couldn't get it. So now he finds himself in a bad position and he's got to get up. Because I'll tell you what, if this fight stays here, he's probably losing this fight. Come on, Cyril, get up, baby. Get up. Fans booing a little bit. Can't blame them. I mean, again, a heavyweight fight, you want to see two guys on the feet trying to land KOs. That's why you watch heavyweight fights, right? Cyril Gane is holding on to that left arm for dear life, but he doesn't have anything. You know, he needs to be trying to push off. He's got his right leg stuck. Volkov doing a good job of just containing Cyril Gane. This is definitely a better performance than the last time they fought because there wasn't any takedowns. Now, all of a sudden, this fight has changed to a ground game, and the fans should, you know, you got to appreciate this if you know the history of these two in the last fight, right? 250 combined significant strikes, not even going to be close to that. Right now, you're at 74 combined because both guys are spending a lot more time on the ground. And who does that favor? Volkov. And although it's not action packed, it is kind of impressive that Volkov, a 6'7" guy, can get on the ground, roll around, get out of position, you know, out of certain submission attempts, and then find himself in top position. Now, Volkov being warned about strikes to the back of the head. And that's because Gane is doing a good job of keeping his head down. And here we go again. Volkov trying to sink in the guillotine. But he's not going to get it. Final 30 seconds. And I'll tell you what, I don't know. I think Gane's going to lose here. Man, this is bad for us. Terrible for us tonight, man. There's a tap. And this is a terrible look for Cyril Gane. Getting dominated here on the ground in round 3. I mean, Cyril Gane lost round 3. So did he really win the previous 2 rounds? I don't think so. Round 2 was close. But the body language from both these guys favors Alexander Volkov, no doubt about it. Getting a look at some replays here. Multiple takedowns. Good early takedown in round 1. And so with these decisions, especially in a pay-per-view setting when the fights are so close, it always comes down to the worst round, which is round 2, right? Oh, that spinning back fist. Goodness gracious. But it always comes down to the worst round because one guy wins one round convincingly. Cyril Gane won round 1. Volkov won round 3, right? So it comes down to round 2, which is very close. Volkov, 3 takedowns. Cyril Gane, 2. Believe it or not, Cyril Gane outstruck Volkov in the final round. But it just didn't seem like it because he was under duress for the final 2 minutes. So we'll see how the judges score that one. But to me, Volkov won round 3. Who wins the fight? That's anyone's guess. And Cyril Gane taking all the weight off his left leg. So something is wrong there, and who knows when that happened. And he's limping around. So that could have had a factor in the fight for sure. Yeah, and he's definitely limping on that left leg. And you can see the muscle doesn't look right. Something's going on there. All right, here we go with the decision. Let's go, Bruce. Give it to us, baby. Let's go, Bruce. Give it to Gane. It's going to be split. 29-28 Gane. Oh, my goodness. 29-28 Volkov. God, we need this one. Come on, give it to us. Please. Yes! Yes! I disagree with it, but I needed it. You understand? Fans booing, but Cyril Gane's going to move to 13-2. That will in no way get him a title shot. That's for sure. But listen, he gets to win here. Heavyweight division, UFC 310. Man, so I don't know about that decision, but as I said, we'll take it. And next up, after the break, stay with us through the break. Woo-wee. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Gary. Stay tuned. We're coming back right after this.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Awaken Zen says Wayne Kong, and this fight already happened, but he said by KO or decision, you guys always leave it out. How is this fight going to be determined? And that's something we started doing a little more of, but it's really hard to predict that. I'm just looking at the numbers and making an educated decision. We've moved to 100 wins, or plus 100 wins on the year, 293 and 193. So we're sitting at a comfortable mark at this point in the season. The main event's not quite where I want it to be at 22 and 18, but we're still up, right? We're going to finish the year at worst 22 and 20, but we expected to have much more wins than losses, and we'll have to rebound in 2025. But still a successful year. But I hear you. We got to let you know at least how we believe it's going to go. But the win is the main thing. King Turnip Charles says he probably don't know the outcome. Just know she will win. Awaken Zen responds, he isn't supposed to know. It's called a prediction. I love when guys go back and forth, man. Let's get the drama. Let's pump it up. At OG Mini Moose, or Mini Mouse maybe, says, geez, first time I've seen your channel, and you almost have 5,000 vids. Respect. And we appreciate that. We actually have more like 12,000 videos. A lot of them we turned to private that were from the past. Don't know why. Just one day we decided to turn them all to private and focus on like 2022 to the present. But we've been doing this since 2019. So it's good to have you, OG Minnie Mouse, in the house. Colostrum, that's our boy. Says, I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be a banger. Talking about Rakhmonov and Ian Machado Gary. And yes, it is. I mean, this fight is going to be definitely a banger. I cannot wait to see how this. I mean, you got two undefeated fighters at UFC 310. And you got to love guys like Shavkat Rakhmonov, who says, I'm supposed to fight for the title, but whatever, man. Bilal can't fight, so let's get it, Ian Gary. You're undefeated. Let's see. And these are two guys that shouldn't even be fighting until the title. That's how it's supposed to go. And they're fighting before that. So someone's going to fall here. And we already got the prediction up. I don't want to spoil that for you because we got UFC 310 predictions on the horizon. We want to get into the complete prediction. But yeah, that's a very tough one when they're 5 and 12 on the do list. So, but history shows we're going to go with the higher ranked guy. That's just a sneak peek. But yeah, you're right, Colostrum. The Master, another guy that's weighing in a lot, and we appreciate it. Says definitely a KO of the year contender. Talking about Muslim Salikov's KO of Song Keenan at UFC China, aka UFC Macau, this past weekend. And then I said Wayne Kong will dominate Gabriela Fernandez, and Bugnificent says nice, because that didn't happen. Gabriela Fernandez locked in the rear and finished the fight over Wayne Kong in an impressive win by an underdog. Impressive. You mess with them Brazilians, they're going to hurt you every time. The Master is back. Speaking of Hamza Chimaev, says, you're right on this. I saw a lot of fans online claiming Hamza looked off and how he'd get beaten decisively by Whitaker, but we proved them wrong on fight day. And that's the interesting thing about Hamza, right, is he's got a lot of people that really just believe he's going to lose. I don't like him. I want to see him lose. He's got that Conor McGregor factor. I'm not saying like is big and popular just yet, but that factor where he speaks out and says what he believes, and then people are like, you know what? I want to see you lose, man. I can't wait to see you lose. That's the bottom line. Aya5555 says, this is the bozo. Me, he's talking about me. He's calling me a bozo. This is the bozo that said GM3 would beat RDR. And I responded, guilty. But Hamza is a whole different level, man. I mean, I think we're 6-0 in predicting his fights, so we'll take those +6 wins and keep rolling. But yeah, Hamza is going to keep winning, at least in the short term, until he's about 35 years old. He's only 30 right now. So let's go get the title and let's keep it moving. Let's just keep it. The co-main event, arguably the main event. I mean, this is serious. 2 undefeated fighters. We couldn't wait to get here. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0. Ian Machado Gary, 15-0. And it doesn't get much better than this. And credit Shavkat for taking this fight. Ian Gary was supposed to fight the following week at UFC Tampa. Well, he got bumped to this one. And Shavkat could have just easily said, no, I'll wait and fight Bilal for the title. But instead, he's taking a big risk against a guy that's really good in Ian Machado Gary. And we really don't know how this fight's going to go down. So let's get into some old reactions, right, involving both these guys. But let's begin with Ian Gary versus D-Rod. When Ian Gary came up with the big finish. Check this out. Nice jab there by Ian Gary. 90 seconds in. And so far, he's not having the big problems with the left-hander as I thought. It's tough when you're a righty, right? I mean, lefties are used to facing righties because there's more righties. But when you're a righty and you face a left-hander now, your lead leg are banging each other almost. You know, your power punch is farther away. But Gary doing a good job getting off on the jabs here. And he's taking on a real striker. And you see a headbutt right there, or a clash as they both come in. Oh, and a nice leg kick by Gary. And he was just called out earlier from one of the winning fighters because, you know, that guy got the finish and Ian Gary took the guy to a decision. So basic premise is Ian Gary needs a finish here if he really wants to up his ante. D-Rod with some nice uppercuts. They don't land, but letting them know. Remember, D-Rod is ranked number 15, so with a win here, Ian Gary could get into the top 15 and become ranked in the welterweight division. Oh, what a nice leg kick. D-Rod goes down. Ian Gary on top. Look at this. D-Rod's covering up. Yeah, that head kick, I think, did it. Boy, and he's pounding away. Wow, and Ian Gary unloads, and it's over. And the crowd goes crazy. And did they say 12-0? I thought he had a loss. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Ian Gary 12-0. Unbelievable, man. And D-Rod was 17-3. This guy was no joke. And he gets the KO at 2:32. So big ups to Ian Gary. Big win here. And what is this, 4 or 5 finishes in a row? Unbelievable. Back into the win column for us, though. We'll take it. And he really unloaded at the end to get the stoppage. And actually, it'll be 2:02 into the first round. So it took him just over 2 minutes to get the KO. He'll be ranked welterweight division, UFC, fight night. Yeah, so he's had a couple decisions since then, but it shows you that, you know, he can go on a streak where he's just finishing people. Of course, it's going to get harder when you move up levels, but Ian Machado Gary is the truth at 15-0. Now, Shavkat is no stranger to finishes either, right? Like his last fight against Stephen Thompson, where he got the big submission. Check this out. Here we go. Come on, Shavkat. You got to do something, man. Oh, gets it back. 25 seconds left. Come on, Shavkat. Oh. Oh, come on. Finish it. Finish it. 10 seconds left. Come on, finish it. He's close. He's tapping. That's it. Let's go. 18-0, baby. Shavkat gets the submission. Wow. 4 seconds left in the round. And that's a big deal. Okay. Now we're talking. Okay. Now we're talking. 18-0. Big finish. Over Stephen Thompson. So now you got to put him in the discussion. That's the bottom line. Shavkat gets the big win here. Thompson's going to fall to 17-7. Unbelievable. Welterweight division, UFC 296. Yeah, so both guys are ridiculous, capable of getting finishes at any given time. And again, 18-0 versus 15-0. You see here on the dude list, Shavkat's number 5, Ian Machado Gary number 10. They're both in the top 10. And the dude list is like our favorite fighters. It's not a pound for pound list. These are our favorite fighters. Whoever's at the, Shavkat's above Ian Machado Gary, so that should mean I'm predicting him to win. But hold on. We're going to have to wait and see if that's the way it turns out. But make no mistake, these are two guys that I highly regarded in the world of MMA, and where they're both undefeated, we really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we just don't. So without further ado, let's jump into the prediction right now. In the welterweight division, your co-main event at UFC 310. This might be one of the biggest fights of the year. You got Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0, taking on Ian Machado Gary. He's 15-0, and credit both of these guys for taking this fight. This is incredible. Shavkat was expected to fight Bilal Muhammad for the title. He could just sit back and wait for that title fight, but he says no. Bring on Ian Gary. Rakhmonov fighting out of Kazakhstan. Ian Gary fighting out of Ireland. Ian Gary's 2 inches taller at 6'3". He's 27. Rakhmonov 30. Rakhmonov 2-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Ian Gary is more active on the feet. 5.5 significant strikes per minute to 4.1 for Rakhmonov. But the takedown game, that slides to Rakhmonov. He lands like 1 every other round. He may have to improve on that number in this fight. Ian Gary gets like 1 every 4, so he's more of a pure striker. Rakhmonov, 100% takedown defense. In his win against Stephen Thompson by submission, he had 1 takedown and 2 submission attempts. Also led on the feet, dominated Jeff Neal on the feet, ended up getting the submission in that fight. Beat Neil Magny by submission. So he's won 3 straight fights by submission and only had 3 takedowns in those 3 fights. He submitted Jeff Neal without either fighter landing a takedown. So that's crazy. The guy's undefeated in the UFC, obviously. He's looking really good, and he has an uncanny ability to get finishes. He has yet to go to a decision in the UFC. Now, Ian Gary, a.k.a. The Future, coming off the win over MVP Michael Venom Page by decision. That was a big one. Close fight, though. He did it with 2 takedowns and kind of ran the clock out. Beat Jeff Neal by split decision. So that's something to keep an eye on here. He did outstrike Jeff Neal, but Shavkat dominated him. Beat Neil Magny by decision. Beat D-Rod by KO. Beat Song Keenan by KO. So he's undefeated in the UFC too. I mean, it's incredible what both of these guys have done. But the bottom line is Gary's going to have to get off on the feet and really, really protect the takedowns. Right? 70% takedown defense is good, a little better than average, but not when you got a guy like Shavkat who's really going to be focused on either trying to get you to the ground or trying to submit you. Can Ian Gary really lengthen this fight? Right? Keep the fight on the feet, keep each other separated, and do it that way, because he's going to have to. He's going to have to. If he finds himself on the ground, it's going to be a short fight. So he's got to keep himself on the feet, stay away from submission attempts. Easier said than done. But as much as I don't want to go against either fighter, and in any other fight I would not. I mean, this is a title fight to me. But Bilal holds the belt right now. I still got to lean towards Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, the guy finishes everybody. And maybe that's just not Ian Gary's makeup. You know, he wins by decision. That's great too. But the bottom line is I can't go against Shavkat when they're both undefeated, but he's undefeated and he's won every fight in the UFC by finish. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I like Shavkat to win this fight. Don't know if he'll finish Ian Gary. That will be a big deal. But he's still more than a 3-1 favorite. I don't think Ian Gary should be that big of an underdog. But the bottom line is I like Shavkat Rakhmonov to get the job done here.
The bigger question to me is, will he get to finish? We'll have to wait and see. But he'll move to 19-0 and be that much closer to the welterweight title, where he'll take on Bilal Muhammad sometime in 2025. This is, of course, my opinion. We'll see. Welterweight division, co-main event, UFC 310.
And we've seen a lot of big fights this year, but arguably this is the biggest fight of the year because in no other fight are we getting like two undefeated guys. Who knows how it turns out? It might not be the best fight of the year, but going into it, it's arguably the biggest fight of the year. And we'll take Shavkat Rakhmonov because we have to pick one. But both guys are capable of winning, and we really don't know what's going to happen until they lock horns. When you look at what the people are saying, and of course this is just put up, so we're only 24 votes in, but you can see the momentum already for Shavkat. 71% of the vote early on, and it might close to 60-40, 60 some 30, like say 65-35, something like that. But you can tell Shavkat is leading in that area in terms of the vote of the people. So if that changes significantly, we'll update that. But that's where it's at early on.
You're watching the TCMMA Podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Welcome back. This your boy Chris Cross. Checking in. This is a TCMMA podcast. Both Shavkat and Ian Machado Gary, combined 33-0, are getting introduced as we speak. Now, if you haven't watched a live stream before, fear not. We might be on a commercial break, but we will be back before the fight begins. We're actually getting pretty good at these commercial breaks. Usually when it ends, the fight's getting ready to begin. So here we are. So let's jump into it, man. Let's pull this thing up. There it is. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0. Ian Machado Gary, 15-0. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Highly looking forward to seeing this fight. These are two guys we got on the top 10 of our dude list. That means they're our favorite fighters, right? That's how we rank the dude list. The favorite fighters combined with skill and all that stuff, right? So it's not really a pound for pound list, but it's more of who we think is going to win. And sometimes it's biased because we like a guy, right? And we like both of these guys. Someone's got to win, so we can't really be wrong in this one. So let's tune this thing up for the full fight reaction. Let's get into it. So here we go. UFC 310, welterweight division. It does not get better than this. Two guys with a combined record of 33-0. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 18-0, versus Ian Machado Gary, 15-0. And the fans are loud, right? Everyone's going to have a pick here, but the bottom line is I think a lot of people just want to see what's about to happen because we don't really know. Neither one of these guys have lost. They're both incredible. And it's time to get this thing started. Shavkat Rakhmonov getting introduced. Both guys look in phenomenal shape. Obviously, he's got many supporters in the crowd with the wigs on, that he wears on his way to the octagon. But listen, the wig's off now. And you got to give credit to Shavkat here. He's supposed to fight Bilal Muhammad tonight. Bilal pulled out. He doesn't have to fight. He could just wait. But instead, he's like, nope, I'll take Ian Machado Gary. You got to love guys that love to fight. And here we go. Both fighters touch gloves, and this fight is on. Number 3, Rakhmonov versus number 7, Machado Gary. Welterweight division. Banger. And as this fight's kicking off here, nothing really happening yet. I did see a post this week where someone said Adesanya versus Costa was a combined 32-0. So I don't know if that means that this is the biggest undefeated matchup in UFC history or not. I don't want to go on record as saying that, but 33-0, that's pretty tough to beat. First 40 seconds gone, not much action. And this is a 5-round fight. I did not realize that. I should have. But a 5-round fight, oh man. That's why there's a slow start. And Rachmanov goes right into the body of Ian Gary. Keep in mind, Rachmanov finishes everybody. So can you get the finish tonight over Ian Gary? That would be impressive. And then there's no hiding from him. I mean, there's no running from Rachmanov now. I mean, Bilal Muhammad's going to have to face this guy regardless. If Ian Gary can get the win, then he could take the spot of Rachmanov, or maybe someone else gets the opportunity. I'm not quite sure what would happen. But you would think if Rachmanov is about to fight for the title and Ian Gary can pull it off, then he's fighting for the title. That's why it's a big risk for Rachmanov. But, you know, good fighters don't worry about risk because they expect to win. Rachmanov just controlling Ian Gary in the fence. Ian Gary doing a good job of keeping his weight down. Rachmanov's trying to lift him up, trying to wrap the leg around to trip him. Ian Gary fighting off all those attempts already. So we'll see how this plays out. But right now, Ian Gary in a little bit of trouble, but he's fighting it off. He's got his back up against the fence. And some shoulder strikes now by Rachmanov. Okay. Okay, baby. But I'll tell you, this crowd is going to go crazy tonight because you might end up seeing the last 3 fights all be played out in control, like not major striking battles, right? We didn't get that with the last fight with Gane and Volkov. We may not get that here because Rachmanov is going to stay into the body the entire fight. Ian Gary tried to fight out of it. He did for a second. Rachmanov goes right back to the back, and he's driving those knees. The difference with Ian Gary is he's very good defensively, so it's not going to be as easy for Rachmanov to just get a finish. But I'm sure he fully expects to get one at some point in this fight. And these are tough fights to call sometimes, because there's nothing happening. They're just both battling for position. I'm sure Ian Gary wants to get loose and land some strikes, but Rachmanov is not going to make that easy all night long. He's just going to try to frustrate Ian Gary and then look for a submission. Oh, now it's Ian Gary looking for the takedown. Look at this. Ian Gary flips it. Now he's in control. Rachmanov flips it right back. Minute 15 left in round 1. Gosh. 1 significant strike landed so far in the fight, and we're 4 minutes in. The fans are going to get restless, that's for sure. And don't be surprised if you see that in the flyweight title after this. Especially in a fight like this where this fight is so hyped up, right? 2 undefeated guys. People want to see something big happen. Boom! Big right by Rachmanov. Oh, baby. And Ian Gary just smiles. But sometimes when guys smile, they hurt. Now Ian Gary looking to get low again. And boy, how much energy do you spend trying to fight off these takedown attempts and control from Rachmanov? I mean, it's just got to wear you down. And that's the end of the round. And it looked like the, first minute of a WWE match where both guys are clinched up. They're both trying to fight for position. Nothing's really happening. And that's round 1. And look, we talked about this in the last fight with Gane and Volkov. If these fights go to a decision, sometimes it comes down to the most boring round that the refs gotta score, right? I mean, so let's just say Ian Gary wins 2 rounds and Rachmanov wins 2 rounds. Then it's going to go back to round 1. And who the heck knows who won that round? Probably Rachmanov. Extreme. Big right hand. Yeah, Gary caught that one. He smiled, but he felt it. And sometimes you get this when you have two really good fighters, right? I mean, they're both technically sound. I mean, they got good significant strike defense. They got good takedown defense. Neither guy able to land a takedown there. So it doesn't always mean it's going to be a great fight just because it looks that way on paper. You know, I mean, Shavkat likes to get into the body on a lot of his opponents, take them down and submit them. But you just can't do that against Ian Gary like that. Maybe later in the fight, but not in round one. Round two's 30 seconds in, and you can see now Ian Gary really trying to keep his distance, trying to throw some feints as well, try to keep Rakhmonov off balance. But listen, Rakhmonov can strike too. That's why he's so good. And Ian Gary's just got to build momentum. He's got to believe he can win this fight. Okay. Okay. There you go, Ian. Keep up with that jab, man. Keep him off balance. I don't know why I'm rooting for Ian Gary. I predicted Shavkat to win, but listen, this will be a major upset. Not really an upset, but I mean, he's more than a 3-1 underdog. Shavkat's almost a 5-1 favorite. So, and a lot of that's because Shavkat's supposed to fight Bilal for the title, right? Ian Gary's still seventh in the division. Can he really come in here and beat Rakhmonov? Yeah, he can. Not to say he will, but he's definitely capable. He hasn't lost a fight. Neither guy's lost a fight. These are the fights. I mean, this is crazy. Like, you're witnessing two high level guys, two up and comers. And it's surprising that the UFC really wanted to make this fight. I guess for obvious reasons, but a lot of times when you have two up and comers, like Bo Nickel fell off in the last fight. He still didn't lose. But if you got a guy like Hamza and Bo Nickel and they keep winning, you don't put them against each other until it's for the title. Like you don't want Ian Gary and Shavkat fighting when they're undefeated unless it's for a title. But the UFC did it. I mean, they put this fight together, so give them credit. Big right by Rakhmonov. Ian Gary gets out of dodge. Boy, now Ian Gary goes into the body, pins Rakhmonov against the fence, and I don't know if this is what you want to do here. I don't know if this is what you want to do, Ian. Ooh, nice knee. Let's go, fellas. Somebody do something. Fans chanting something. I could tell the fans are getting frustrated. You could just hear it in the boos in the arena because they want some action. I mean, you're now headed towards 5 straight rounds of not a whole lot of action. .120 left in the round. Ian Gary had Rakhmonov pinned against the fence, and then Rakhmonov flipped position. And that's why I said, if you're Ian Gary, do you really want to go and try to build control time or try to land a takedown? Because Rakhmonov is very capable of flipping it on you. And still, though, Rakhmonov has not been able to take down Ian Gary. 0 for 3. Ian Gary's 0 for 1. Almost no striking. I mean, this is going to be very tough for the judges to make a decision here. Should this go to a decision? Oh, spinning back fist lands for Rachmanov. And although it's not been as exciting as I think people hope for coming into this thing in the build-up, you got to respect both guys and their abilities. I mean, both guys have defended takedowns at all cost, even though there's been about 4 minutes of control time in the first 10 minutes. When they're on their feet, they're both fundamentally sound, so they're not putting themselves in bad positions, so they're not taking a lot of strikes. Now, Rachmanov probably landed, if you could even say that, the bigger shots at this point in the fight, but it's 4-2 Gary in significant strikes. It's 15-12 Rachmanov in total strikes. Then you get into control time, which is why Rachmanov is probably leading this fight right now. It's 3:20 to 9 seconds. And it's like in football, you got two really good teams coming in, man. Good offenses, good defenses. You think it's going to be a great game, and it usually is. But you're headed into halftime almost, and the score's 3-0, and everybody's like, "What is going on?" Now the game will pick up in the fourth quarter. This thing will pick up in the fourth and fifth round. Right now, very slow start in terms of activity and action. We're obviously well aware of Rachmanov's abilities, so I'm more interested in seeing how Ian Gary plays this. The rest of this fight. What's going to be his angle to try to get a victory? Nice leg kick, Ian. Let's go. And as you listen, this is one of these weird situations for me, right? I mean, we got Rachmanov predicted to win, but like many of you, I like the underdog as well. The prediction is what I actually think is going to happen, but then my heart takes over sometimes too, and I want the underdog to win. So I'm kind of compromised right now at a very critical time because we're 6-6 on the night. Not great at all. So we need this one. We need Rachmanov to win, but at the same time, this will be an incredible win for Ian Gary. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do though. Rachmanov comes in with a right, misses. Ian Gary lands a knee to the body. Might have been a little bit low. They touch gloves and we carry on. Even if you don't win this fight and you're Ian Gary and you can defend every takedown, I mean that's a big deal against Rachmanov, who's clearly trying to go for takedowns. Both guys having a tough time getting off in the strike game, in the stand up. And here we go, because as soon as one guy misses, they clinch right up. Yeah, and Ian Gary's so good about keeping his weight low, prevents the takedown. Rachmanov relentless though, has Gary pinned up against the fence. Lands another shoulder strike with the right shoulder. Ian Gary drives a right knee to the body. When you got two highly skilled guys on the defensive side, it makes it very tough for either fighter to do anything. And that's what you're seeing here. I mean, these guys are highly skilled. And Now Shavkat looks like to me like he's content with just bodying up Ian Gary against the fence, driving a knee every now and then, and not losing position. And the ref's going to split him up. The fans love that. Here we go back to the center. Ooh, nice leg kick by Ian. If someone gets the finish here, they're going to look like a genius. If this goes to a decision, and we're in the final minute of round 3, if this makes it to a decision, it's going to be very tough. I mean, the judges are already scoring it round by round, but it's just going to be very tough to accept the result because it's not dominating on either side. Round by round is very hard to score. I mean, you can get a 48-47 or you can get a 50-45. I mean, you really don't know. Oh, spinning back kick by Rakhmonov nearly misses. And I'll tell you what, if he lands that, spinning back fist connects. If he lands that, it's over. We're going to see that again at some point. Now spinning back fist by Gary. Big right by Rakhmonov. Here we go. It's starting to heat up a little bit. Round 3 is over. And what do you tell your guy in the corner? Nobody knows who's winning this fight, including the coaches. Yeah, so Rakhmonov's being told in the corner that, one strike isn't enough. You got to follow it up. You need to use combinations. And they tell him that, but Rakhmonov, to me, is doing that on purpose. Now we're in Ian Gary's corner. Now they're getting a new pair of shorts for Ian Gary. This is odd in the middle of a fight. And they got to put a towel over him. So what are they going to delay the round now? I mean, how can you do? Wow, never seen that before. Ian Gary switches shorts in between rounds 3 and 4. Not quite sure what the problem was. Here we go. Round 4's underway. They touch gloves. Final 10 minutes. The first 15. Not a lot of things to get excited about, but, luckily it's a 5-round fight. Even if it finishes this way and the fans are like, that wasn't a great fight, I still think Dana White defends it. I think Dana White knows that these are two highly skilled guys. Great defense, very technical on both sides. And at the end of the day, it's pretty even, right? Because against other opponents, they're going to land takedowns. Ian Gary's going to do a lot more on the feet. But, it's almost like looking in the mirror at yourself in a fight like this. Your opponent is just as good as you. These guys aren't used to this, right? They're undefeated. They're used to winning. Both guys still in the stand-up. But we made it a minute 20 seconds straight in the stand-up. No clinch. Shavkat comes in. He's trying to get the head on the hip. But you see what Ian Gary does. He gets his weight low, almost like he makes Rakhmonov take on all the weight. Like if you're gonna take me down, you're gonna have to lift not only my body weight, but the amount of force I'm adding to it. And it's just not possible. Now Ian Gary flips Rakhmonov. Just a phenomenal job of takedown defense for both guys. Incredible. Oh, and there it is, the first takedown for Shavkat. That's a big deal. You know, sometimes the refs don't give credit to this stuff, but man, if you're watching this fight, you realize how big that is. And immediately Ian Gary goes to the body lock, body triangle. And it's almost like he knows you're probably not getting out of this situation. Like you're trying to hold on the rest of this round. And we're only midway through. We'll see if Shavkat can go to work here. This is the first time one guy's looked like they have a lead in this fight. But when he's pounding away now, Shavkat's still swinging, or Ian Gary's still swinging back. He gives up the back now. This is not good. And he shakes him off. Look at this. Now Ian Gary's on top. Nice. Oh, what is this? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ian Gary looked like he's about to finish the fight. Had something, synced up, cinched up, I should say, and Rakhmonov did some wild move and got right out of it. I mean, I thought he was seconds away from tapping. It's crazy. Both of these guys are so good defensively. So it's like it doesn't matter who they're fighting, they're going to be in the fight. Shavkat's pinning Ian Gary up against the fence. Now Shavkat looking for another takedown. He can't get it. Ian Gary gets out of there. Ooh, spinning back fist by Ian Gary. He missed that. Gosh. Ian Gary tried to lock in the guillotine, but Shavkat's not even worried about it. I mean, these guys, again, are so good defensively that even when they're in a bad spot, they don't panic. It's like they know how to get out of it. And look at Ian Gary pounding from the bottom. Now he's taking some punches here, looking for that arm bar. He couldn't get it. Now he's landing some elbows. I mean, these guys are going at it, man. They're just both having a hard time getting anything done because their opponent is so good on defense, just making it very tough. So we're going into a fifth and maybe decisive round, and Ian Gary shoved Shavkat at the end of the round. And they both have the look on their face like, man, this guy's good. Seems like DC and Joe Rogan are saying 3-1 Rakhmonov. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Rakhmonov's doing better on the feet. He's controlling, or with control time, right? He's controlling the fight. He's over 6 minutes of control time. But significant strikes, Ian Gary leads. We've seen in total strikes too, 36-34, significant strikes 27-13, 27-13 that is, for Ian Gary. And you've seen in the past that the judges don't always give a lot of credit to control time. And the one time that Rakhmonov took down Ian Gary got up in like 45 seconds to a minute. Fans on their feet now for highly interesting round 5. The average fan is watching this and getting pissed. Diehard fans are watching this and like, this is incredible. Because neither guy is capable of doing what they would do against any other opponent. Much to the credit of their current opponent right now. Another spinning back kick. I know we'd see that coming again for Rakhmonov. This time it landed, but not a lot of power in the finish. And a lot of people weighing in here from Twitter saying 3-1 Rakhmonov. Oh, Ian Gary's taking the back. Oh my gosh. And it's like Ian Gary knows And look at this. Rachmanov is not even fighting the hands. Now he is. But it's like he just trusts his chin so much. Wow, and Ian Gary locks it in. He's got the body lock in. Oh my gosh, or body triangle, whatever. Look at this, man. Ian Gary's got the back of Rachmanov. It's hard to believe. And right now, keep this position. Oh, he's got something locked in here, but he's not underneath. Rachmanov fighting the hands. And now it's tighter this time. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, if Ian Gary wins this fight, Rachmanov fights the hands again. And now Ian Gary's got it again. Oh! Oh! Oh my God! Ian Gary's squeezing with everything. Rachmanov's still trying to fight the hands. I think he's got his chin down enough, but he looks a little worried for sure. Oh my gosh. Ian Gary's dominating here around 5, and what stinks is if he can't get the finish, he might still lose the fight. That's the crazy part. Right now, for the first time, someone's taking control of this fight, and now Rachmanov turns his body, and now they're chest to chest. And in a moment, Rachmanov is going to be in top position. So crazy stuff here. A little worry on Rachmanov's face, but no panic. And when I say Ian Gary had it locked, he had it locked. I mean, locked. But, you know, Shavkat keeping his chin down, you know, and that's why you see the worry in the eyes, because if you flinch at all and it gets underneath, the fight is over, right? But he didn't panic. Ian Machado Gary still got the legs locked, but now you just got Shavkat facing you instead of having the back. So Shavkat's in a much better position, but Ian Gary having a decent round right now. He just can't find himself in a bad position. And look at this. Ian Gary is not letting go of this body triangle for anything. And even if his legs are getting tired, you're down almost to the final minute here. And it's like you just got to keep those legs locked at all costs. Boy, and both these guys stifled each other in terms of allowing their opponent to land a lot of strikes. I mean, there's been a lot of clinch control. The fight's gone to the ground a little bit the last 2 rounds. But as you're watching it, both guys are having difficulty really getting anything big accomplished. I mean, Ian Gary was in the best position to finish the fight. But when it's a 5-round fight, I mean, you're not going to get credit for that, but for 1 round. And I don't see, I guess you could see a judge going off and having a 49-46 or 50-45 because the rounds are so close. But you would think all 3 of these judges' scorecards, even if it's unanimous, is going to be 48-47. And I wouldn't be surprised with a few wild scorecards, you know, like when you compare them to each other are going to be different because none of the rounds have been dominated by anybody. Final 5 seconds and they're still in the clinch and they just can't get loose. Ian Gary lands a big right hand, spinning back fist at the bell, and that's it. They touch gloves and hug it out. And I think both guys know and respect their opponent. And they're both on their knees in the center of the octagon, and both guys lift their hands up. And, I mean, people are going to be talking about this, and I would think, you know, the casual fans are going to say, oh, that was a boring fight. The diehard fans are going to be like, this is incredible. But it is what it is. We're getting ready to get the decision here between these two momentarily. But just an incredible fight. for both guys. And we're getting a look at some of the replays, and they're showing all the striking, but there really wasn't, much of it. At the end of the day, see, here's the tricky part: is strikes 39-22 for Ian Gary. Well, actually, excuse me, it's not updated yet. Oh yeah, it's way behind. Yeah, so we don't have the stats, but Ian Gary's going to lead in significant strikes. Came back a little bit in round 5 with some control time. We're getting a look at this, submission attempts. Shavkat was in all types of trouble, but he fought through it, didn't panic. Shavkat putting on the hairpiece or hat or whatever you want to call it. He's working his way to the center of the octagon, and it looks like we got a decision. So it's probably going to be Rakhmonov 48-47 across the board. But, we'll see. Who knows? Here we go. Here we go. Come on. It's unanimous. Yep. Perfect. Really. Ooh. Shavkat Rakhmonov gets the win 48-47. And, both guys kind of look like that's the way it should be. That's the way I thought it should be, even though it's very difficult to score. I couldn't tell you who won which rounds other than Ian Gary won the 5th. But, 48-47 is what it looked like. And very good fight. And if you're Shavkat, you get to fight for the belt. That's the bottom line. And credit him. He didn't have to take this fight, and it was a risk. But Shavkat wins. He's going to remain undefeated at 19-0 here. Great fight. Welterweight division. UFC 310. So that'll do it for that one. Look, next up, we got the title on the line. Yeah, it's not the most interesting division, right? It's the flyweight division. But it is interesting in a sense that we got a guy making his UFC debut fighting for the title. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've seen this, if we've ever seen it. Can Kai Asakura come in and upset Alexandre Pantoja? We'll find out just as soon as we get back from this break. Remember, during the break, stay with us. We're coming back. We always come back before the fight begins. But let's get into some of the reactions throughout the night for some of the bigger finishes, and then we'll get to the prediction for Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Big right by Lucchese. Kennedy shoves him off. So remember, Kennedy with that long reach is trying to keep the distance, but when Lucchese gets in, he's landing some shots. There's another jab. Oh, and a nice knee by Kennedy. See if that turns it around. Kennedy favored to win this fight, but, not a big favorite. And it's always interesting seeing a lefty against a righty, because the lefty's used to it, right? Because most fighters are righty. The righty, ooh, nice right by Kennedy. And it just seems to me that Lucchese's having a tough time with the lefty here. And a couple body shots by Lucchese. Now a big left by Kennedy. And Kennedy looks real comfortable. He's just trying to time it up and keep the distance here. Nice left. And you could see the power by Kennedy opens up the eyes of Lucchese when he lands. Now a body shot. Kennedy steps back. 20 seconds left in round 1. And he's trying to time up that left. Nice combo by Lucchese. Final 15. Oh, big right by Kennedy. Oh, my goodness. Pounding away with the hammer, and that's it. At the tap. With 10 seconds left here in the first round, Kennedy Sechechru gets the win. Unbelievable, and he looks pumped up. He looks pumped up, and he needed that one. I mean, listen, this is a tall guy with a long reach, and he's just timing it up, man. You know, right when he gets in that area, it's over. And he finished with the combo. The second punch, he throws the right, boom, woo, throws the left and comes back with the right hook. And Lucchese didn't even try to, you know, he saw Kennedy coming with the hammers and that was it. Yeah, he never saw that right. And Lucchese's throwing the right as he gets hit, and boom, the hammers finish the job. So, listen, it's a big 14 fight card. At least the first one starts with a KO. We'll see if this trend continues. Kennedy Zachukwu gets the win. He moves to 14-5 here. Heavyweight division. Gotta love it to kick things off at UFC 310. Chase Hooper looking for the armbar. He loses it, but still has the back. And Clay Guida trying to roll out of this thing. Oh, he's putting his arm in a bad position. Okay, Guida gets out of it. And right away, Chase goes back in for the takedown. Chase rolls, ends up getting on the back again. Look at this. This is just unbelievable. I mean, Chase is so good on the ground. And as he gets older, I mean, you just see the strength and development from just 3 years ago, 2 years ago, right? I mean, every day this guy's getting older and better. And he's still young. Oh, he's got the arm now. Uh-oh. We just trying to roll out of it. Oh, and that's it, man. He taps. It's over. Chase Hooper, baby. Okay. Chase Hooper's on the come up, man. 3 years, this guy's going to be right in the mix. Beautiful, beautiful performance by Chase Hooper. This guy is legit. And as he gets older, he's just going to get stronger. With the win, he moves to 15-3 here. And, you know, always a tough division, lightweight division. And he held up, right? 13-1 favorite, and it holds up. He gets the win here. Lightweight division, UFC 310. Chiesa looking to lock it in now. He does. Oh, he loses it for a second. Oh, yeah, he's got it again now. Here we go. He's got the rear. He's got the rear, and that's it. Max Griffin taps. What a phenomenal fight by Michael Chiesa. Unbelievable. He's going to move to 20-7. So that's big for him. And he looked good just coming into this fight. Looked like he was well prepared, strong, and slowly broke down Max Griffin, who put up a good fight. But at the end of the day, Michael Chiesa wins by third round submission. Welterweight division here at UFC 310. Anders continues to pound away now. This is not looking good for Chris Weidman. It's getting close. Mark Smith is taking a close look at this. And Anders continues to pound away. I mean, Weidman doing just enough to hang on, but he looks exhausted. Mark Smith looking at it, and that's it. Eric Anders finishes Chris Weidman. And of course, Chris Weidman's on his back arguing it. But, I mean, listen, it's over 3 or 4 minutes of Anders being on top. And I think Chris Weidman was looking at it like, I just got to get out of this round, right? There's only 10 seconds left. You get out of the round, and it's 1-1, regardless of that you're dominated. It's 1-1. So that's probably why Weidman's upset. But he's going to fall to 16-8. We'll see if he hangs it up. Eric Anders wins. He moves to 17-8 here in a catchweight fight at UFC 310. Ooh, Themba comes in, takes a right. Look out. Oh, and the DRs now. Oh, no. Tell you what, Themba's in trouble, man. You don't want to be here with Vicente. Oh, wow. And his hand's caught in. He can't even tap. He can't tap. Oh, he's done. Wow. Wow. Vicente Luque wastes no time. And I mean finishes Themba Gorimbo. And he had his right arm pinned in between his legs. And Themba couldn't even tap. Not to say he would have. Who knows? But man, that was over quickly. And Vicente is back at 23-10. And Themba goes down to 14-5. And he's such a good fighter. And it's a shame that it finished so quickly. He didn't even get the opportunity to do anything. Unbelievable. And he caught Themba coming in with a big right and then jumped right in on the DRs, and that was it. So Vicente Luque gets the win here. Welterweight division. UFC 310. Anthony Smith continues to take it from Dominic Reyes, and the refs. I mean, if you're the ref, you got to be thinking about stopping this thing, right? I mean, I know there's only 20 seconds left in the round, but Anthony Smith is not responding for the last 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. The ref finally steps in, and this fight is over. And what it was is Dominic Reyes just chipped away at him, right? And when you're not responding for like a minute or two, even though they're not big shots, the ref still got to jump in and stop it, and that's what he does. And Anthony Smith looks dejected, right? He lost his longtime coach / mentor, so he was already upset before the fight. But he falls here by TKO. Dominic Reyes wins in dominant fashion to move to 14-4, 129 significant strikes to 18 over Anthony Smith here, light heavyweight division, UFC 310. As we work our way into the main event, it's a big one. Flyweight division title on the line, not always a fan favorite, to say the least. But it is interesting where you got a guy in Asakura coming in a UFC debut situation and fighting for the belt. This just doesn't ever happen. I mean, it just doesn't happen. It's crazy when you think about it. And Asakura, thinks UFC benefits in a recent article saying if he defeats Alexandre Pantoja, the UFC benefits. I'm here to make it exciting. He tells MMA Junkie, let's be honest, it's good business for the UFC if I win. I'm here to make it exciting for people to have interest in the flyweight division and have a whole bunch of new matchups ready to have on future shows. So is it better? Yes, because we need some, Pantoja just dominates this division. We need someone to come in and potentially win. But then it's like, okay, guys from outside the UFC are potentially better than guys inside the UFC. So you sort of want the UFC guy to win too, to protect the home turf and not open up that can of worms. But at the same time, it is the fight to make at this point in time. Researching Asakura, he's really good. Pantoja is a great, Alexandre did great. But at the same time, Asakura is going to come in and present a problem because he's going to be harder to break down than other UFC fighters against UFC fighters. So highly interesting here, and hopefully Pantoja doesn't overlook this one. But let's jump into this fight. Prediction right now.
In the flyweight division for the flyweight division championship in your main event at UFC 310. You got Alexandre Pantoja, current champion. This is a bad dude, right? Taking on newcomer, a guy that brings a lot of hype with him, and in his UFC debut gets a title shot, which is very rare, in Kai Asakura. He's 21-4. Pantoja sitting at 28-5. So highly interesting matchup. Now Asakura is going to be 3 inches taller at 5'8". He's 31. Pantoja 34. Asakura's got a 1-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Now we know a little bit more about Pantoja, right? I mean, he lands like 4.4 significant strikes per minute. He lands like a takedown on average per round. He's got an average takedown defense at like 68%. And he's been on a tear lately, 6 straight wins, most recently against Steve Erceg in defense of the title. Won that by decision. Pretty close fight, though. Beat Brandon Royval by decision. Royval actually outstruck him, but 8 takedowns to none stifled that opportunity. So Pantoja is legit in that he can find ways to win, different in every fight. So he's very versatile. Now Asakura has 21 wins, 13 KOs, 3 submissions. So that's a big deal. He's fighting out of Risen for as long as we can see. He did lose a couple fights ago to Ogik Kubu. Never heard of him. Won the last 2 by KO over Montoya and Archuleta. And this is just odd to me, right? I mean, you're getting a guy making his UFC debut fighting for the title. What does that say about the rest of the division? Could Asakura come in here and win? Well, sure he can, because guys don't know as much about him as they do other UFC fighters. They're still going to be able to watch tape and all these type of things. But he's fighting non-UFC fighters at Risen. And he still has 4 losses. Now, he hasn't lost since the New Year's Eve 2021. But he's only fought twice since then. Missing out in 2022. Fighting 2 in 2023. We haven't seen him in 2024. This is just a big problem uh, for me, that this guy gets to come in and just get a title fight. But the division is weak and there's nothing else to put up there. And thank goodness they had this fight with Bilal Muhammad having to pull out of the previous main event. So who's going to win this fight? I got to go with Pantoja, right? I just don't see a guy coming in their UFC debut and taking the belt. I mean, the fact that Dana White would even allow that to be a possibility is kind of crazy to me. And again, you never know. But this one is Brazil versus Japan. You know how I feel about the Brazilian fighters, how good they are anyway. Brazil's got the belt. I don't see him losing the belt against a newcomer. I know there's going to be a lot of people that weigh in and say, well, Asakura did this and Asakura did that, and he's really good. And he's not coming in and winning the belt in his UFC debut. That's the bottom line, and that's my opinion. Alexandre Pantoja dominates this fight to move to 29-5. Real simple. He'll do it on the ground, on the feet. He can do it in a multitude of ways. But Pantoja wins this fight, in my opinion. For the flyweight title, he retains it at UFC 310.
Yeah, and Pantoja better protect the home turf. That's the bottom line. We can't have a guy coming from outside the UFC and winning the title. Michael Chandler almost did it. I mean, he had to get through, I think, Dan Hooker first. Finished him. Almost finished Oliveira for the belt. And then Oliveira ended up winning that fight. So it really, in recent memory, can't go back, more than 6 or 7 years. I can't remember a time when a guy came in on a debut and won a UFC belt. Maybe in the early days when it wasn't, fully structured yet. But as we go further, that's going to be even tougher because guys want to get into the UFC as soon as possible, start making a name for themselves. So it makes it harder and harder for a guy to go his whole career and then come into the UFC on a title fight. I mean, it's just crazy. But that's why we have it. Alexandre Pantoja, one of the two, will hold serve in this.
You're watching the TCMMA podcast. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Yes, sir, it's title fight time. Welcome back to the TCMMA podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cross. Kai Asakura already in the octagon. Pantoja's getting checked in right now. We're moments away from the flyweight title being up for grabs. And the moment these guys step in the octagon, there is no champion. That's how it works. I mean, the belt is up for grabs. Anyone can take it. But you got to beat the champ. Got to beat the champ to get the belt. And let's just be real. I don't know a lot about Kai Asakura, right? What I do know is that the flyweight obviously has no big competitors. This is why you got to bring in a guy from a different promotion. But Asakura comes in with a lot of hype, so we'll see what he can do. And these fans are dying for a finish. I mean, these fans want to finish so bad. The last two fights, 8 rounds of a lot of control time, a lot of submission attempts. And when you have that in a heavyweight division and in the battle of the undefeateds, this might not be the fight that, everybody is super excited about, but this is all we got now, right? And it's the main event. And I'll tell you what, we desperately need this win. We desperately need this win. One, to finish with a winning record tonight. Started out with 4 straight wins, then lost 6, and now have won 3 in a row. So we're back to 7-6. A lot on the line in this one. We're 22-18 on the year in the main event, which isn't great, but when you start the year 4-7 in the first 11 weeks, it's just been a grind and a battle. I mean, we moved the wins over losses up to like 5 or 6 at one point. Now it's down to 4. So this is one we need for sure. And Bruce Buffer doing the song and the dance right now. We're getting ready to get this thing on. Pantoja can't wait. I mean, he's just pacing back and forth in his corner. Asakura fighting out of Tokyo, Japan. He's a 2-1 underdog, which isn't really bad. And the reason it's not more than that is the big what if factor. What if this guy's the real deal? But I just have I mean, it's not to say he can't win. Anything can happen. But it's just hard for me to believe that a guy's coming from outside the UFC in a debut, fighting for the title, and he's just going to come in and beat the champ. So, you know. But again, anything is possible. Asakura introduced, now Pantoja getting introduced. So let's tune this thing up. Let's tune it up, baby. All right, here we go. UFC 310 flyweight title is on the line here in the main event. You got Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. This is the full fight prediction reaction, meaning we're with you until this fight ends. We're with you until this fight ends. It's been a long fight card, 14 fights. The last 2 have been decisions, 8 rounds, and the fans are dying to see some here. And look at this. Asakura towers over Alexandre Pantoja in terms of height. Here we go. Both guys step back, and we're about to get this party started. That's the best way to put it. And title fights are just awesome because you're one punch away from the title changing hands. You're one slip away from a guy getting a submission. I mean, anything can happen. And here we go. And Pantoja comes right in with a big right. Ooh, Asakura with a flying knee, but now he gives up. Ooh. Boy, these guys are going at it quick here. Okay. Boy, and Pantoja's coming in fast, and he gets the takedown. Kai Asakura right back to his feet. And here we are, back to the clinch. We've been in the clinch all night. All night. We've been in the clinch all night. Both of these guys look aggressive. Now Pantoja gets on top. He lands another takedown. Let's see if they give him credit for 2. Yeah, he's got 2 takedowns already. We're going to get a good idea of how good Asakura is right now because he's on the ground with a legit Brazilian. And you know me. Unless there's a great reason not to go with the Brazilian, that's who we're going with. I'd say 4 times out of 5. When a Brazilian's in the fight, we're taking the Brazilian to win. And Asakura does. He gets back to his feet, pushes off, and gets out of it. So definitely showing some skill on the ground. Nice right by Asakura. And Asakura standing left-handed now, and he's landed some good leg kicks. Oof. And I'll tell you what, when you get in close quarters with Alexander, man, it's rough, boy. He's got some power. And it comes quick. Gosh, nice knee to the body by Kai. Yeah, but Pantoja's landing some big strikes. He's up 9-4 in head strikes, 15-9 in significant strikes already. So at least we're getting more action than we saw in the last 2 fights, which is wild because it's a smaller weight class. Nice left. I mean, Pantoja just lands and stands right there. Like, he doesn't back up. And Kai trying to mix things up. He goes from righty to lefty back to righty. So he's trying his best to do a good job and mix things up. And he comes in with a left, and Pantoja just is like, whatever, no big deal. Let's go, Pantoja. Oh, nice leg kick by Kai. Man. Boy, you're hearing the pop from both these guys. I mean, when they land, it's landing. Oh, nice knee. Okay, Pantoja, I hear you. These guys are waking me up a little bit here. Boom. Nice kick to the body by Pantoja. Ooh. And the first thing you notice here is that Kai Asakura, I mean, he's in there with a very good fighter in the champ, obviously. But he can take a punch where other guys would have went down. And the reason you get these exchanges is that neither guy is willing to back up. Nice kick to the body. Boy, and Asakura loves to jump, try to utilize flying knees. He jumps and throws a punch. I don't know if that's wise against Pantoja, but that's what he's doing. Round 1 is in the books. And now both these guys will settle in. Boom. Getting a look at some of the replays here. And I mean, both guys are landing. I mean, they're landing knees to the body, up top. They're landing strikes. It's 17-7 head strikes for Pantoja right now, 30-12 in significant strikes. So he's getting the better of Kai Asakura. But it's definitely a fight. He also has 2 takedowns with a minute of control. And right now, Pantoja looking sharp. But he's in there with a worthy competitor. That's the way it looks. Definitely a worthy competitor. Round 2 getting ready to kick off. Come on, fellas. I need a finish right here. I need someone to get a finish. We need something to get excited about to finish this year off. At least in a pay-per-view. Boy, and Pantoja does not back up. I mean, it doesn't matter if he takes something, he does not back up. Now Pantoja looking to climb up the back. Asakura spinning off pretty well. And he's definitely very skilled. I could see why they gave him a title shot. It's clear now. Especially a guy in Pantoja whom on his way up to the title and in title fights has put people down. I mean, has finished people, right? He's very good. But so far, Kai Asakura hanging in there. And now Pantoja jumps the back. Now he's got the leg. He's got the body triangle, so we'll see if he can go to work here from the back. So far, Kai Asakura has shown that he can fight through these situations, but this is the worst one he's been in. But he looks calm. No panic. Ooh. Pantoja's locked something in here. He's fighting the hands. I can't see. Get out of the way, ref. Get out of the way, ref. Oh, he's squeezing now. This might be it. Asakura is in trouble. He's fighting the hands, though. He's fighting the hands. Man. Oh, boy, he's in trouble. Oh, he's out, and that's it. It's done. He's out of this fight. It's over. Alexandre Pantoja gets the win, and finally, we get a finish. Thank you. And, man, we needed that. Let's go, baby. 8-6 on the night. We get the main event, and we needed a night like this. And now we got a little cushion heading into the last week. Well over 100 more wins and losses on the year. We'll get into all that in the reaction show tomorrow, but things didn't look good when we lost 6 in a row tonight. And I knew it was going to be rough down the middle. And Asakura can't believe it. You know, he gets finished, but he looked good in the first round. He looked good early here in the second round too, but he just got stuck in a bad position, you know, against a Brazilian who's got your back, has got the body triangle locked in, and you see it there. Once he jumped the back, you didn't know it at the time, but this fight was a wrap. And we're getting a replay here, and boy, he really squeezing here. Is Pantoja, and Asakura continues to fight the hands, but once it gets cinched up, that's it. Yeah, and he fought the hands again there. It looked like he was going to be able to hang in. But yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much. Alexandre Pantoja is the Ultimate Warrior. Not the WWE Ultimate Warrior, like the real Ultimate Warrior. I mean, this guy has, in just a few title fights, cleared out the division to the point where they got to bring in a guy from another promotion to try to test him. And it didn't matter. Alexandre Pantoja is at the top of his career. He moves to 29-5 and lands a submission here. In the main event, flyweight division, UFC 310. So that's it, man. That's the way things go. I mean, wild night, great night, because it ended with a finish, right? If we didn't get the finish at the end of the night, this could have been a long, boring night. That's the bottom line. But we get the finish. Alexandre Pantoja puts on a show and retains the belt. That's the bottom line. So listen, so that's going to do it. That's going to do it. I appreciate y'all watching. It's been a long night. I spent all day moving and then had to go through 14 fights. Glad to do it because we love the UFC, but I'm freaking exhausted, man. I appreciate you guys watching. The next one's going to be a big one because you got Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan in January, so stay tuned for that. We already put out those predictions, so check those out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, share this video, all that. But until next time, this is your boy Chris Cross. Have a great day, and God bless. As always, peace.